It is going now. So hello, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Share my screen with you. So I'd like to welcome each of you. I'm wondering what continents and countries are gathered here today. So could you name the country or place where you live in the chat or orally if you want? Personally, I'm from Moscow. I'm here now.
I live in Belarus now, but I'm from Iran.
Nice.
I'm from Morocco and live in Morocco.
Cool. We've got.
There is a colleague from Philippines. Great. I'd like to welcome you.
It's California.
California.
I am from Mexico and I am living in Mexico, in the center of Mexico.
Nice. So many countries and cities. Hopefully our today's meeting will be as diverse as a number of countries. So let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Tamiris. I'm TDC Academic Methodist, and I'm here today to host a top performance meeting devoted to hold an interview with one of the best performing teachers who will share their experience and advice on how to conduct a substantial number of lessons, how they manage to do it and still keep up with everything in their private lives. Also, they will share some life hacks on how to encourage and motivate students for studying longer and more intensively, even on vacations. So there are some rules to keep in mind. Please set your actual name for today's meeting in Zoom so we know that you've attended the event. Also, turn off your mics when not speaking and turn on your cameras if you can. At the end of the event, we will ask you to fill out the feedback form. So if you're going to leave earlier, please let us know. So we will send you the link. If you have any questions, follow our Zoom chat and leave your either requests or comments there. So let's say hello to our today's guests. I'd like you to welcome them by sending some emojis or greetings via our chat. It will make them feel less anxious and nervous. So I'd like, we've got Elle. Nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice. I'd like to.
We've already got some emojis in our chat.
I'm the emoji myself.
So much emojis. Nice. So I'd like to cordially welcome Merzad, an English teacher from Iran who has more than 8 years of teaching experience. He's a TESOL certified teacher who regularly shows outstanding results in our school in terms of lesson dynamics and intensity, as well as the next two speakers of today's event. This is Paula from Mexico, a teacher with more than 21 years of experience in teaching English. She's certified by Cambridge with TKT and teaches people of any ages. And here is Eunice, a brilliant teacher from Morocco who has 18 years of teaching experience, who teaches both children and adults.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this introduction.
And before we get started, let's entertain ourselves and get some understanding of why these particular teachers from Iran, Mexico, and Morocco have been invited today. What makes them so unique? What distinguishes them from others? We're about to play a little game to get to know our speakers better. Here is Merzad and some mysterious numbers connected to him. How do you think? What do these numbers mean?
Dear participants, could you please mute your mic so as not to distract other participants? Yeah, okay, and our colleagues today. Thank you.
Thank you. So, dear participants, how do you think? What do these numbers mean?
Objection, Your Honor. 1618 is not correct. It's 1625 now.
Just trophies.
Please. KPI, no idea. Okay, maybe some other ideas, dear participants. his age.
His age, 48.
1618. You got me.
Looks younger. Okay. Than 48. Okay.
Hey, I have an 8-year-old kid in me.
Okay, we've got so many options from age of students till his KPI, but I'm going to open the box for you and tell you that these numbers represent their performance at our school. So the point of the game is I will tell you the meaning of one of the numbers and you will have to answer in the chat using letters A, B, C, D, or E. So we're gonna start with Merzad. Guys, what do you think? What is Merzad's total number of lessons in our school?
8.
B.
We've got only B's, right?
B's,
So
yeah.
far.
I think that was pretty obvious. It was just a warm up, the easy question. Yep, everyone is correct. It is 1,618. Okay, let's move on to the next one. What is Merzad's maximum number of lessons per day? Everyone agrees that it's option E, and you're absolutely right. It's 8 lessons per day. The next question for you. What is Merzad's highest number of lessons with one student? This one may be a little tricky.
We've got D. There is one more letter, D. A and D. Debates. And C, C, D, right? Okay.
A, D, C. Okay, and A again. So the answer is D. 98 lessons is the highest number of lessons with one student. Okay, and what is the maximum number of lessons per week? See, I hope we've got one more answer, A. Okay, I think 192 is a lot, but yeah, 48 lessons per week is the maximum number of lessons for Merzad. Okay, guys, thank you for being active. We are moving to our next teacher, Paula, and we're gonna play the same game. So what is Paula's highest number of lessons with one student? A, D, A again, and D, and E. Wow, we've got so many options. So actually, Paula's highest number of lessons with one student is 75. So those who answered with A were correct. What is Paula's maximum number of lessons per week? E. E. Okay, everyone agrees that it's E, and that is right. It's 54. And what is the total number of lessons in our school for Paula?
That is actually obvious.
Yeah, it is kind of obvious. Yeah, so we all agree that it's it's option C. Okay, and the maximum number of lessons per month for Paula is option D, 216. And I think that's an amazing result. And now let's move on to Eunice. Probably it will be easier for you from previous 2 rounds. So what is
Yes.
Eunice's maximum number of lessons per week? A, maybe it's C. We've got a C option too, A or C, kind of tricky. So actually,
Or maybe even B. Who knows, maybe he's striving for perfection. Okay.
Yeah, so most of you were correct. That is A, 54 lessons per week. Also, how do you think, what is the highest number of lessons with one student? B. C. Most of you think it's C, but some of you think it's B. In reality, it's C, 72 lessons. Oh, and Ksenia thinks it's E, 1,000 lessons with one student. That's pretty a lot.
It's worth doing. Okay.
Okay, so I think we had a great warm up. So let's get started and start our interview. The first thing we will start from is numbers and background. And the first question for our interviewees is, how does your experience help you with teaching students? Would you say that there is a direct correlation between experience and intensity? Who would like to start? Yeah, Merzad, sure.
Based on my personal experience, I believe that learning process never stops. And not only for students, also for me, especially for me, because like I remember the first time I started here working with kids, it was like, I'm not sure. I remember the first interview I had on that day, they asked me if I want to work with kids, and I said, no, direct no. But now the majority of my classes are with kids, so definitely experience helps me become a better person, adapt. I learn about students' mistakes. I know what are the common mistakes. I know even, for example, some algorithms belong to each nationality. Like, for example, Turks see it in another way compared to Germans, for example, or Russians. And they all are considered as a part of my experience, which helps me become a better person to adapt, to be more efficient dealing with my students, not necessarily how good I am, but also to match with the situation I have there inside the classroom.
Thank you, Merzad, for sharing. Paula or Eunice?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I can start if you want.
Sure.
Yeah. First of all, let me thank you for your invitation and thank all the teachers who joined us here to support us. Well, this is a very good question. And of course, all those English courses I have taken in the college back in the United States, and also the TESOL certificate I'm in the possession of, help me directly with teaching students. But in addition to, that, there is a knowledge I've gained during my studies. I also attended useful and practical TTC workshops, and collectively it helps me to deal with the non-standard situations, uh, like my friends just mentioned, like kids, uh, or students, and find the best solution competitively. Yeah. Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, we've got a nice experience, and we've got Paula.
Thank you.
Okay, in my case, like Merzad and Yuna said, well, I haven't stopped learning. I've been teaching 21 years, but I can tell you that even today, I'm still continuing learning. I always try to see my classes, those ones that are great, when you have a great lesson and when you had an awful lesson, why do they happen? Okay, so at the end, I evaluate the material that I was using, the way that I was presenting the topic, how my students were reacting. So I can see what's the best the majority of my students like or connect with that material, with the way that I presented. By this means of implementing this approach, it is helping me to keep these students and that they want to learn and they want to connect every class with us. So that's what I do.
Okay, thank you, dear teachers. We're moving to the second question. Is teaching in our school more comfortable for you than it was before? If yes, so what has changed? Yep, Merzad, sure.
Hopefully only positive changes.
I'm doing my best. Personally, I believe, in 2020, when the corona happened, this situation happened, for a couple of months, I had serious issues because teaching online was something I wasn't really good at. I haven't done much because I would usually go to school, I see students having conversations, starting the class. So I was really, really confused. But now that I think about it, I think it's one of the best decisions I've made in my career because, like, think about it, the preparation time, communication, the health issue, especially during these COVID-19 situation that happened. Uh, it's all about time. It's about energy. It's about money. Like, you know, I have access to very, very good materials that can fulfill my needs. Even more important than materials to me, more practical for me, is the schedule. You know, you don't know how messy I am. And with the help of the schedule, I could keep myself in the best version of myself at least. And I'm really, really happy about it. Of course, it really changed me in very good way working here. I'm so happy about it.
I'm glad the changes are positive for Merzad. So, Eunice, please.
Okay, so of course, previously I had the chance to teach in different online schools, and definitely, as a matter of fact, it is more comfortable teaching here, at least for me, and that for many reasons, you know. But I think the most important reason for me is the ability to have regular students, you know, to have the same student, to teach the same student, because uh, in most schools, online schools, you don't have these privilege, you know. Uh, you basically you don't teach the same student twice, you know, so you never know who you are teaching. So this really helps me control my students progress, you know. We, of course, with the help of various instruments on the platform, such as progress widget, uh, progress check card, uh, the homework, the automatic homework check, yeah. Also, I don't have to spend hours on these things, you know. So I can watch my students growing, developing, and become better English speakers, which makes teaching more than just a job for me. It becomes really rewarding and fulfilling. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, agree. Instruments on our platform.
Yes, yes, they are amazing. I can tell you. Yeah.
Okay, and Polan?
Okay, well, as I said, as I've been observing my students and myself, and has improved me a lot. Like Merzad said at the beginning, I wasn't an expert teaching online. The platform was something really new, a lot of buttons and things, and like, but the more that you practice, the more that you analyze and explore the material, the platform, the resources that you have, little by little, you are starting earning more confidence in yourself, and the students notice when you know the material, when you know how to use the platform, when you can interact and make the students interact with these tools, the students know that they are in front of a teacher that can't deal with them. No? You can help them. And definitely the quality of time. I've been an English teacher in Mexico, and well, my classes used to be like 20 students as minimum to 40. So now I have only one student for 50 minutes. And all my attention is for that. So personalizing is easier because I don't have to think in 20 students at the same time. I have to think in just one student, and that's the student's needs. So if you pay attention to what material and lessons are the best for your student, believe me, the quality of your lesson will improve and your students will be really satisfied with you, and they will want to come back with you every time that they have a lesson with you.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
agree. I agree totally. Yeah.
Yeah, and Paula, as you started to talk about students, I think for us it's firstly we will discuss which school features help you to conduct this number of lessons, and then we'll talk about students for a bit.
As I mentioned, sorry guys for starting. As I mentioned, the materials is very, very helpful. Like, you know what's going on and you know where you want to go. So it can help you stay on the track and stay on the way you are designed to go. Then schedule, as I mentioned, it helps the personal side of each teacher to develop. And even a more important factor is the connection between us as members of this team. You know, whenever one teacher has problems, we just type it in our group, and you know, there has been so many moments that Paula helped me in the chat. You know, we talk to each other, we like ask questions in the group, and people share their opinion, and there is no sort of jealousy, let's say, you know, in some environments I've been, and it's like, yeah, people say, don't say it to anyone, let's keep this secret by yourself. In here, we don't have such thing. Everyone wants to be helpful as much as possible. When you have an issue, you just type in the support chat and the help comes. And these are the things that I really, really appreciate.
Yeah, agree that we all need support, especially when we work alone. Yeah. Okay.
Indeed. Okay, as for me, you know, I can think of three main features that really helped me conduct this number of classes. The first one is the ability to reschedule lessons. You know, which again, this is something I didn't have in other schools, to be honest. Also, and I try to use it positively. So I always do my best to never reject a request from a student to postpone a lesson. That way they never lose their lessons on their account, which makes them happy, of course. The second one is the ability to choose the material I teach. This really helps me um, achieve students' goal uh, in a relatively and short period of time, and that also makes them satisfied. The third one is the ability to directly communicate with students. This another feature we don't see in other schools. I don't know, other schools, they are afraid of direct communication with students, you know, outside the platform. And this really keeps me close to them and always ready to help them solve any issue they might have. Um, what all that together leaves a decent amount of time for resting and spending time with my family so I can conduct more and more lessons. Thank you.
Great. Okay, and Paula?
Well, first of all, the schedule, like visualize the time that you had for teaching and also resting, like Gina said. And that this is a complete freedom that you have, how you organize your time schedule. I assign some spaces, some slots for new students, but also I don't forget slots for my current students, like they need to reschedule, they get sick, they have to travel. I have the students that travel a lot because they work. I have children that have a lot of activities at home. So give spaces, slots for them so that they cannot take the class the day they are supposed to. They don't lose it. They do have options. Okay. Also explore the platform, as I said it before. Use the tools that the platform has. Also, the platform is great. It gives you the opportunity to include the material that you create your own material. Students are unique. They share things, but at the end they are unique. So I like to create some material for some kids or other material for other students that are adults, because they are really structured. They like to see the grammar rule. Children like to play with colors and matching and that. Online websites for games. So it is really nice that the platform allows you to attach the links. So you don't have to open 20 websites and collapse your computer. You just go to the attach section and just use the material. And the students are impressed. And the most important, they are learning. Okay, and the digital board is something that I really love, because this is the way that my students have to communicate with me, and they're like, I don't understand this. They can write, draw, and that kind of stuff. We can make notes, and they can make their own examples. I can attach an image, and we can write, draw, and do that. So there are things, all those materials, and you organize all your time, are going to help you to conduct as many lessons as you want, and you don't have to burn out for doing that, believe me.
Okay, Thank you, Paula. Yeah, I agree that the digital board is really helpful, especially for kids, because it's entertaining and a great alternative for offline classes. And we're moving to the next part about your students. Could you share one of the most memorable accomplishments that your students have ever made because of progressing fast due to high intensity and being better at English in our school?
You know, in our careers, in our life, we can have very, very amazing moments, and it's a, I thank God for this job because it's one of the most rewarding ones. We are here to create something out of nothing. There are many good things that we can experience. I don't know, from elevating a student's level to getting a job interview done, having a successful result in one exam. But to me particularly, the answer of this question goes back to my own childhood. That, because of my father's job, we had to live in a smaller town where I was bullied for speaking English. It was like this, look at this guy speaks English. Speak English, is English, hello, hello, hello. I was receiving this and I was really, really afraid of saying it anywhere. It looks like a shame, Speaking English was a shame to me till I met one of my teachers and he changed my life. The person who I am right now is all because of him. So what I consider to be as the best accomplishment is when someone comes and kills that fear in you, enlightens you to change your perspective, your point of view to English. And I'm so happy to say that, like, during the time that I was here, I've done it at least with 6 cases that I consider it as my greatest accomplishment.
That's such an unusual accomplishment, Merzad. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Okay, as for me, well, thanks God, I have faced many accomplishments of my students. But here, what Mirzad said, yeah, I can agree. When I see, like, and this happens a lot with kids, like 4, 5 years old. At first, they are afraid. They are afraid, they are scared, and then when you make them love, their mom, or especially moms, they're with their moms, so their mom starts saying that, he's the one who is asking to come. He can't wait to meet you. You feel, yeah, you feel very happy that you changed. You changed that kid from a situation to another one. He's now happy. You managed to take him out of that feeling of scared, being scared. uh, but if we talk about accomplishments, for example, a lot of my students managed to successfully pass their interviews, and they got a job only to the course job interviews that we have on the platform, because they became better English. And by the way, I recommend teachers to use this course for students that prepare for job interview. It's really helpful. I remember this Italian lady who managed to get hired by Gucci. We all know Gucci, the big company. Yeah, she was
Wow.
very, very happy. Also, I remember a Mexican woman who got her U.S. citizenship, with the help of our classes and becoming better in English. Some others, and many of others, have escalated to higher levels. Anyway, it's always a great pleasure to see your students who started from scratch to master the language with you. It's always a good feeling. Thank you.
Yeah, I bet you're really happy for these accomplishments.
Yes, of course.
And Paula, what can you share with us?
One in particular, currently I have a student who really struggles with the speaking. She's really shy and so sweet, but she's much better than she thinks. And the other day she came really excited because a night before our class, she dreamed in English. I don't know what she was dreaming. She didn't tell me exactly what, but she was excited and amazed because she remembered her dream, and she remembered that she was speaking English. But for me, the exciting thing is like she was always struggling speaking English in class, and guess what? She was retelling everything in amazing and perfect English. So I told her, have you noticed that you are speaking English with no problems? Really? I mean, I'm talking about someone that is super shy, that always says yes, no, and she came like, guess what? You should have seen her face. I mean, it was not a certification exam, but that gave her a lot of confidence in herself. And she now is eager to study more and continue because she's noticing that she's learning her English, her fluency, her pronunciation have improved a lot. And she said, I don't know, but I'm going to take more classes. So she is now taking more classes and she enters the class more confident. She's not afraid of having mistakes. She's not afraid of speaking. And when a student is like that, believe me, you have the best student in the world and you can accomplish everything you want. So I really like it because I remember my first class with her. It was frustrating. Like, hi, how are you? She's from Poland. Hi, how are you? Can you listen to me? Is my mic working? And that day that she came, like, guess what? I dreamt the other night. So blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, she's not the same student. They changed my student. Where is my student? But then I let her speak, and at the end, bravo. And she didn't realize. When finally she realized, like, I can do it. And now she's eager to get a higher level and have a certification in English because now she understands that she can learn. That is one of the most, one of the members that I have.
It's so heartwarming. I'm amazed. Wow, thank you for sharing your students' accomplishments. And the following question is, how did the regularity and frequency of classes affect these results, or did they?
Awesome. You know, because I'm such a foodie, I want to give the example with the food. You know, regularity and frequency of classes, it looks like when you want to cook food and enjoy the hot food, amazing. Like if you want to enjoy it, you have to eat it hot. And if you want to eat it hot, you have to cook it, you know? So the more you cook, the more you get. This is how it goes. Like if it's I think it's one of the most important factors, perseverance. Like if something goes wrong, come back again. We can fix it. If you don't give up, if you continue your frequency, you will get the result. That's how I feel.
Nice. Yeah, having a student with 98 lessons in total, yeah, I think it really works.
Yeah.
Okay, Judas.
Okay, you know, for me, the common thing I see between all my students who have great accomplishment is certainly regularity and frequency. So I always make it clear to them on our first lesson that these two factors make a big difference for them. So I encourage them to take more classes per week, and I always help them, uh, uh, like I said before, to postpone their lessons when they can't make it on time, so they don't miss a lot of classes. So yes, so frequency and regularity really affect these results. Thank you.
Okay, and Paula.
Definitely, I agree with my coworkers. They are really important. Don't get stressed with those students that have few lessons. I mean, I understand some of my students, as I told you, travel a lot. They are in a lot of countries and they don't have internet connection. Or children with a lot of activities, I mean, tennis, swimming classes, judo, and then so English class only once a week. The best that you can do is let them be, but let them know that in a nice way that their progress is going to be slower. Okay, you want one lesson a week or two lessons a week, it's okay, it's fine, let's do our best, but keep in mind that you have more classes, the result can be faster, sooner, and you can do things faster than you expected.
Yeah, sure. We should let.
But there are some students like, no, I don't have more time, etc. Don't get in panic, don't get angry, say, okay. But when you notice that they feel that they are not making a progress, one more time, remind them nicely that the frequency and regularity are important. Like, okay, we can improve it better. You had one more lesson a week, okay, or every 2 weeks. Let's try it. Make an invitation, okay. Agree with them and to accomplish something in particular. Okay, let's add one more lesson and let's review your vocabulary, okay? Or let's gonna work in your pronunciation. Let's work in the grammar structure that you have in your school. I don't know, that they notice that it's going to be productive and it's going to help them immediately, or not immediately, sooner, in 2-3 weeks. So when they notice that they are acquiring and learning, they are going to be open to have more classes with you, definitely.
Yeah, sure. Don't forget to suggest and ask. That might work. And what exactly do you do to make your students study with you longer, with the same interest, and not to miss classes?
Oh boy. Okay, so
I don't know that.
I'm
No,
sure you know.
what I want to say now is not necessarily only about I want to thank all the great teachers here, because what I say is what everyone is doing, and I'm just saying it loud, that the adaptation is a part of our job. Self-development is a part of our job. This is what we do. Sacrifice is a part of our job. There has been many moments that all of us had that, okay, because a student didn't understand one small part, we forgot about that 10-minute or 5-minute period of break we had. And we did our best to make the student in a more comfortable situation, put them in a more comfortable situation. This is one of the things I consider very important. Also, like when I talk about my students' interests, we talk about it, and kind of I'm trying to find something in common and develop it. I learned how to do origami just because one of my students was super interested in it, and the classes are going well. We have like 70 sessions together, time to time. Once a week we do one origami together. We share our information, or I don't know, like with some of my students I talk about this bad boy about PlayStation. Like I try to go with them. In the end, I'm myself, but different aspect of myself, to keep that chemistry the higher level, to bring it into the field of friendship than just teacher and student, because I always had problems with super serious teachers when I was a student. So I don't want to be one of them. And this is, I think, it helped me a lot to keep that connection.
Yeah, so your experience helped you to be a better teacher. Good. Paula or Eunice?
Okay, so I think this is a really challenging task. And I always focus on the first lesson. I make sure to give a very good impression, because I know how important the first impression is. I want them to say, wow, this is what I've been looking for, but it's not enough, to be honest. Then I follow it up with good performance, by being there for them whenever they need me, communicate with them, and or with their parents for kids regularly. Sometimes they can contact me, at night, and I answer them. They need to reschedule, they need to postpone, at the last minute. I have no problem. Also, I help them achieve their goals by using all my previous skills and experiences. Um, for example, I myself, I had to learn many languages. For instance, I had to learn Russian language back when I used to study in Ukraine. Back then, we used to study in Russian language. I also had to learn English, you know, So I usually engage with my students at their level of understanding, like kids, I go like a kid, like a like a kid with them. I never act like an adult, which makes them engage back and gain the necessary interest to study more and never miss a class. But here I have to mention something really. um, we should be the best example for our students, as teachers, and that by attending all our classes. Because I've heard, on the chat room, I've seen our managers, asking teachers to please don't miss classes, please. I really don't understand that. I don't understand how you suppose your students to attend classes and never miss a class when you are missing classes. So far, I have conducted almost 1,200 lessons now, and I never missed a single one. Not a single one. That's so I always try to give a better the best example for my students. Yeah. Thank
Sure.
you.
Yeah, you also mentioned one more important thing to grade your language and behavior with different students of different ages. That's also a case. And Paula, please.
Well, as my coworker said, I agree in all of them. Personalize, be in contact with the parents. Also, be open-minded with their students' schedules. Don't say no. I mean, remember that you should have some slots for them, okay, in for rescheduling and that. And believe me, when they see that you are empathic, they want to stay with you because they won't find a teacher like you so easily. Okay, that's gonna make them stay, but also have fun. Had fun and make your students had fun. And when I say had fun, everybody thinks about only and exclusively with children. Adults like to have fun too, eh? And they come with a lot of things. Even children, I have noticed the children come stressed. Okay, children that are 5, 6, 7 years are 5, 6 years old and come stressed. When you notice that when your student entered to the class in not the proper mood, let them be, okay, themselves. Let them feel that they are in a safe environment, even if it's virtual. Believe me, they can feel it. And sometimes I stop the class, the content of the material, because I care what my student is feeling. So the only rule is it has to be in English, okay? So let them speak about the hard day that they had, or that the English teacher at school scolded them because they didn't do properly the homework and that. Let them be. And when they see that they have someone that is listening and caring about them, they will be able to open. I remember that a little kid didn't want to enter to a class and because she wanted to go to a party. So, okay, what's the problem? I want to be in the party, not here. I mean, she took out everything that she was feeling. And then I said, okay, how do you feel now? Much better. Can we work in this exercise now? Okay, I mean, and she worked. And the next class, guess what? She came happily with no problem. She forgot the party and she forgot. I mean, she was concentrated. That day she worked better and double than the lesson before. But if you are only concentrated, I need to teach this, I need to teach that, and I need to advance the program, and you forget your students' feelings and needs, no. And at the end, let them feel that they are learning something. Okay, the warm-up, the cool-down stage is super important. Discuss it quickly. Okay, what did you do now? Now, what can you do now? Tell me an example that you learned today. What was something productive that you plan to use after class? Let them, if your student cannot answer any of those questions, your student has the feeling that he or she didn't learn anything. And a student that leaves the classroom with the idea or the feeling that is not learning is a student that sooner or later is not coming back. Okay, so, but if they leave the class having, oh, today I learned the numbers. Oh, today I learned how to say things that I did last year. I mean, something they want to come for more and more, and you have them with you. Okay.
It is indeed, yeah. So your own example is the best example for your students. And as we finish talking about your students, experience with them, let's focus on one very important stage, emotional state. So you conduct a big number of lessons. Is it comfortable for you to combine it with your private life?
Of course, it's a sweet challenge. It has never been a problem, but I refer to basics, as long as you have a good scheduled plan, and if you do it properly, yes, of course. Like I remember on holidays, like on Christmas, say I had like 3 to 4 classes. So first of all, I'm such a workaholic. First of all, it's impossible to separate me from work. I'm like, no, I need to work. Just give me one class. Even compensation is all right. But yeah, it's all about how you set your schedule. Especially the school gives us this possibility to choose what is the right time for us. So that's one of the best things. And if we don't this sort of mistakes ourselves, I don't think it's much of a problem.
Okay, so it's comfortable for you. Nice. What about Eunice?
So for me, I'm a family man, and working from home gives me the chance to be always with my family. Well, really, that's where I find the energy to conduct a big number of lessons. Also, I don't have to commute to the office, and you know, go to traffic, and which saves me a lot of time daily. That is committed to my job and allows me to dedicate more hours to teaching. So what I'm trying to say, for teachers, try to find something, try to make it as a passion, for you, not just a job, So that's how you can work with ease and comfort.
Hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing that you notice the advantages and use them. And Paula?
And yes, for me it is. I think that you have to love what you are and that you do in order to do it in for a long period of time. I've been a teacher for 21 years. Definitely, I love teaching. But the secret is managing your time. Please be sure, like as I mentioned before, set clear what you want, what you need, and what you have to do. For example, if you are married, you have children, which is the best time that you want to spend with your kids, or when you have to go to the supermarket to do the shopping list, I don't know, to see your family, to have a break. So organize it. I really love this school because for the first time in 21 years, I have absolute control of the time, the number of lessons, the days that I want to work. Okay, so it's me, the one that is deciding when I start and when I finish, when they take a day off, and when I have the mood and energy to teach the double or the triple. Believe me, sometimes I am like, next week I have the energy to give 2 or 3 more extra classes, and I open more slots than I usually open. Okay, so be able to manage your time wisely. But for doing that, you have to know what are your needs. It's not the same as single person that is in his or her 20s, that a married person that is in his or her 30s with 1 kid or with 3 kids or with, I don't know, with a big family. But you are the one that has that decision, nobody else. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And how do you manage to keep your work-life balance between your professional activity and your personal life? Are there any magic pills for that or no?
The question is, do we?
Do you?
Okay.
I would like to have magical pills, but guys, there are no magical pills. Okay,
okay.
not
Little spoiler.
That's a good news. First news. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna start. In my case, I am an early old. I live in Mexico, and I prefer start teaching really early. My first class starts at 5 o'clock in the morning, Mexico time. But why do I do this? look, right now it's going to be 7 o'clock here in Mexico. The neighborhood is quiet. Everybody's sleeping or getting ready to work and go to school. But I have already taught 2 or 3 classes before. So by the time that everybody is starting their routine, I have already worked 4 or 5 hours. So it's amazing. And I'm not stressed. I'm not tired. Like June said, I don't have to commute. For me, it works to start early. I know that some people are better, more productive at night. No, night for me is a synonym of sleeping. So I really like to start work early at 5 o'clock. So I have a break at 8 o'clock for having my breakfast. And then I continue till noon. Then I have another break to have some lunch. And believe me, I am more productive than I have been in the other schools because I have absolutely concentrated in one student for 50 minutes. Okay, and then I go with the next one. Of course, I get tired, but it doesn't compare to the tiredness that I used to have with 20, 30 students, plus coordinator, plus meeting parents, meetings with parents, plus grading, I don't know, 50, 100 books and notebooks. I don't have that. So all my time is teaching, effective teaching, 50 minutes every hour, teaching to someone else. And look, it's amazing. For me, it works like charm. Mhm.
I think those who can wake up at 5 a.m., it's the best life hack and magic.
I can sleep at 5 a.m. Does it work?
Yeah, but listen, I used to wake up late and do things, but it's super productive to start early. It's amazing. I mean,
Well,
everybody,
that depends on the person. Yeah, that depends on the
it
person.
depends.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I said probably you are more productive at night and your productivity can increase, I don't know, from 6 p.m. to 10 or 11 p.m. Okay, and the morning you are doing something else. But for me, it's incredible because I start working at 5, I finish at 2 p.m. and I have my whole afternoon free.
Mhm.
That's
Okay?
amazing.
If I want to, I could work a couple of hours more in the evening. But for example, I decided this semester to go back to university to study pedagogy, catch up.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
always
great.
so I need time for study. That is the reason that I stopped working in my evenings. And that is the reason that my KPI started going down, but it's only temporary because I am just preparing to be better. So 3 years, I'm not going to be working in the evenings, but it's only 3 years, okay? Imagine if when I graduated, I'm going to be working the double and I'm going to be better prepared. So it depends on the people. Mhm.
Yeah, so I think you can balance your work and life. That's amazing. What about
Well,
Merzad?
for me, okay, go ahead, Mirza.
That's fine, no
Yeah,
problem.
that's okay.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I kind of finish my day the night before. I start my day the night before. So I finish my last lesson and I say, okay, max, sometimes when I finish my last lesson or sometimes half an hour before I start my first lesson of the day, I dedicate some like 20 minutes time for brainstorming. I sit down, I say, okay, so at 9, I have class with Eduardo. At 10, I have, for example, with Aziz. And then I put them and I check every material that needs to be reviewed. I do this preparation before starting my day, actually. So I'm half ready at least. Then one of the things, because usually, for example, in evening classes, it happens much more that you barely have a break in between them. At least based on my timeline, it's like that. And in these sort of situations, I try to keep all the tools that give me comfort near me. For example, I always have a boiler, a toaster, I don't know, my cup of coffee, the coffee, water, everywhere all around me. So that 10 minutes, at first of all, I don't need to prepare because I've already prepared in the morning or maybe the night before. I'm ready for the class. That 10 minutes is super, super efficient for me. And like I have the chance to spend time with my wife, with my dog, and I have the chance to have my coffee prepared. I have the chance to check what's the football news, even have a communication, check my Instagram. That 10 minutes is a good number for me nowadays. This is how I can keep myself with the balance. Yeah.
I think that's a great life hack to plan everything before and then use these 10 minutes to just relax and do it for yourself. Okay.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for disturbing. There is one question from one of the colleagues, right? And there is one more. So still we're running out of time a bit, right? So I'd like to ask, there is like a question from Tiffany. So how you deal with a student who never listen nor do the task at all? Lots of distraction, for example, writing on your notebook or something. There is such a question in our chat. So could you answer it?
Yes, well, for me, I had the students, a similar student, and amazingly, I found out that this student just needed attention. That student just needed attention. So what I did, and the student was, I think, 12 or 13 years old. And by the way, I have two sons who are, one is 13 and was 14, so the same age, And I try to find his interests. And before the lesson, I always try to talk to him about his plans. He wants to have a YouTube channel. I always try to give him some tips, so how to, yeah, and always ask him, how did you progress on your YouTube channel? At the first, at the beginning of lesson, I always try to pay attention to him, to give him more attention, and believe me, he changed totally. Now he is focused. Yeah, well, this is my experience.
I need some help for YouTube channel too. Thank you.
Of course, with a pleasure. I had experience here, and of course, I had experience. I used to help my wife to for her channel, kitchen channel. Yeah, so I have some experience.
Nice. Okay, and as we are a little bit short in time, we've got one more interesting question for you. Could you share some life hacks on how to motivate your students to continue studying even on holidays when they have more free time? I know that you have classes on holidays because you work a lot.
Okay, let me start. Okay, with this question. uh, Motivating students to have more classes, even on holidays, could be easy, to be honest. For example, uh, uh, if they really enjoy studying with you, of course. So it is something you have to draw attention to from the very first lesson. Make sure you keep a very good relationship with your students and or with their parents. Also, make sure you are in the right path to achieve their goals. uh, I regularly track my students' progress, so as to display it transparently to them. For example, you can conduct a role play with your students who wants, for example, to go abroad, to be able to speak English. So you guys can, for example, act out a situation in the airport or uh, a cafe. That way, he or she will be able to use all the skills you were working on for the last few lessons. This, believe me, this will show them how your classes do help uh, on their big goal, and their big goals becomes closer. So the motivation for studying will increase a lot, and they will be ready to study more intensively to reach their goal faster. This is my idea.
Yeah, that is
Okay,
because
go
they
ahead.
can see the practical use.
Yes, yeah.
Or Merzad or Paula?
I actually I learned this trick right now from Serious. Thank you so much. It's very, very helpful. I might do it. I usually have two groups of students. That some students are already they prepare themselves to have the classes when they have more free time and enjoy the atmosphere in that way. We switched two of the students to weekend classes and holidays, but like usually it really depends on the student and what their goal is and what their schedule is. Suggesting different ways, telling them that okay, look, as you can see, I have more free time at that time. I can be you also have the potential and the time. So I think it's a good way. The direct conversation to me is a very good way to persuading students come to classes on holidays or I don't know on weekends, because at least in my personal life, English came so effective that I suggested to everyone. And I say like, maybe you don't see it now, but this is one of the most important things that can help you later.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for sharing. And Paula, please.
I'm going to answer quickly, and then I had to go because I have a class. I'm so sorry. Well, first is try to know your student a lot, like personalizing. For personalizing, well, not just the name and country where they are from, their interests, hobbies, their passions. And when they see that their class is planned for them, believe me, it doesn't take you too much time for plan it. It's just adding, I don't know, a video on YouTube and a website and an interactive website from a game on the internet. They are eager to come with you. Okay. Also, make them notice that now that they are on vacation, they have more free time. They can change their schedule. Probably some of those kids or students that are adults, they chose that time because they had the school or they have to work, etc. And now they don't have to, so they can take classes early or later. So offer the option to reschedule, offer the option, why not? And like, okay, look, now you have vacations. This is the time for practicing this. I did that with a student and she was eager, but also that extra class make it interesting. This girl was, she loves cooking. So she recorded herself making a recipe and we were discussing about that, something original, something different like that you always do, because another of the same, no, I don't know. That extra class is about singing a song, watching a video and retelling the story. I don't know. And most students, obviously they go on vacation, but the ones that stay, they want to practice. You will have more than one student able to decide to stay on vacation and study. Okay. Sorry, I had to go.
Yeah, that's completely fine, Paula. Thank you for coming today.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Paula. Have a good one.
And, yeah.
Anyone, I'm here if you want to.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
I'm
Of course. We will talk. We will talk again and again. Have a good one. Take care.
Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And thank you for sharing. Yeah, and as Marina wrote in the chat that we would like you to join TTC workshops sessions with mentors too. I'd like to quickly tell you about these opportunities. So if you feel like you need to improve your lessons, upgrade methodology, build better relationships with your students, sign up for the consultation with experienced mentors, which will help you to find the best solution to a specific situation or come up with a personal development plan. Also, our TTC workshops will help you to improve your teaching skills, refresh your knowledge, or even learn something new that you can use in your classes. The links are in the chat. So we came to the end of our event. I'd like to thank you all for responding, being active today. Also, thanks for all the participants for listening and for our great speakers.
Yes, and for their kind words, especially
that's
mention
so
Babylin.
nice.
Yeah, Babylin. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you so much.
Zoe. And as a result, let's briefly summarize what we do have to do to conduct a lot of lessons to still feel great. So firstly, plan your timetable to devote time for both teaching and your personal life. If needed, reorganize your schedule to make it more comfortable for you. Thus, you will attend all the classes with a great pleasure and you will not feel any pressure. Also, in this case, your discipline will be significant too. Avoid rescheduling lessons from your side. It will negatively affect your students' result. Secondly, do not hesitate to bring something special to your classes with students, since personalized approach motivates your students to study more and it helps them not to lose the interest. Also, It could be some wow effects lessons, some quests, even cooking together, as Paula mentioned. And finally, increase your interest in teaching by attending our events, workshops, and sessions with mentors. Arrange your space for teaching to make it as comfortable as you can, so it will become not just teaching, but also an amazing hobby. So as we approach the end of our event, please fill out the feedback form. It will be in the chat in a couple of seconds. And also, if you have any questions, please, you have an opportunity to ask them. Questions or comments?
Okay, if I may speak.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. So first of all, I want to thank you so much for conducting this beautiful meeting, you personally. Then I want to thank the school for giving us this chance, to share our experience. I want to thank the participants. I want to thank the teachers who supported us by joining us today. Thank you so much for your kind words, all of you. And I want to mention something, guys. Okay, if we made it, you can make it. Okay, it's very easy. The most important thing is take it seriously. Okay, this is a job. This is a job like in the office, sometimes because we work from the comforts of home, we forget that this is a real job, but this is a real job. You have to take it seriously. As I said earlier, you have to be the best example for your students. Don't expect your students to be the best and you are not. Okay. So try to be the best example. Try to attend all your lessons, unless of course there is an emergency. It's not I have a meeting or I have to meet my friend, so I'm going to skip this class, forget about that. So try to be serious, and believe me, you guys can make it. You can make it. You can make it. Thank you so much.
Eunice, that was really motivating. I hope that our meeting was useful for each and every one of you. Thank you for participating one more time. Have a great day. Have great classes.
Thank you. Likewise.
Yeah, you too. Have a good day. See ya.
So thank you and see you on our next events.
Yes, I
Thank you.
hope
Goodbye
so.
then.
Bye,
Thank you for coming.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Thank you.